Hello, all of our fans at BPTV. This is Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm co-producing a new show, yes, a new show with Jessica Lee, Jazz and Blues. And we're going to do this show. She came up with a great idea, told me about it. We ran it past the director of BPTV, Dave Cable. He agreed to do a Zoom show for you with music. Jessica Lee, can you please tell us how you came up with this great idea?
Hey, Al. Well, first of all, it's great to see you. During these COVID-19 response days, everybody's been in a little bit of a twilight zone from time to time and not seeing each other in person quite as much. So I'm glad you look happy and healthy. And I'm guessing you might have some green tea there.
I'll show it just for my fans and you. I'll sip a little. Thank
Uh,
you.
I thought so. Uh, this idea is really something that came to me. It wasn't something that I came up with in a way. It's called by request. And during the whole response to the coronavirus pandemic, I've had people just ask for particular songs, mainly on Facebook, right, Al? So on Facebook Live, they'll say, hey, this particular song makes me feel less alone, makes me feel a little more hopeful, whatever it is. And sometimes people have stories to share about the song and why they would like to request the song. And then I've just been sitting at my piano from time to time and coming up with arrangements and just singing a song by request for a person during COVID-19 and the whole response. So it really kind of came to me. I was surprised by how many people were saying that they use music and songs to kind of feel better during some of these tough days.
And you chased my blues away, and some of the songs I never heard before. So I'm excited with the songs that you sent, and one of them is the one I didn't hear. So that was just awesome. And music is uplifting and always been with me. And I'm not as musical. I can't play an instrument. I can't sing. I can't even dance. But, I do have some other advantages. But I'm so honored that I was able to hear you with your great voice live doing these shows. And the other thing, you've told me about your piano playing since 5 years old. And I always said, someday I hope to hear it. Well, I didn't know this pandemic would bring out me being able to hear Jessica Lee play a piano and sing. So you talk about a great combination. It's blown me away. And as I mentioned, I can't wait to continue with this show. You have me pumped up totally.
Yeah, well, thanks, Al. You're always so generous and kind, and I appreciate that. In Pittsburgh, we have a lot of terrific musicians, right? We have a ton of great musicians. And in the jazz world, one of my partners in crime from the live music side of life is Mark Strickland, the great guitarist you know well. And
Legendary. Legendary.
when you have such great musicians around, I don't play the piano. I'd rather sing with Mark or, with some of the great musicians who are around. But during COVID, when we were all quarantining, and that piano was the only thing I had to accompany myself, I had to do it. It just stared at me. And Mark wasn't around. We weren't doing live shows for quite some time. Now we're starting to do some outdoor shows. But it's given me a chance to really listen to a lot of people, listen to the types of music they would like to hear the types of messages that these lyrics provide and how they connect to their own individual stories. And, Al, right before COVID hit, I just want to shout out to a couple of venues who were really supporting live music beautifully. And there were quite a lot of them who were doing beautiful music programs. And right before the pandemic hit, Mark and I had a chance to play at This Is Red in Homestead, a great, great venue, beautiful church. And we were able to record live there. And we did the same at the Carnegie Music Hall in Carnegie, PA. We were able to record there as well. And that was, as you know, our last show before COVID hit. That was early March.
What an amazing show. The
You know,
Pint-Sized Songstress and honoring women's 100 years of voting. So, I mean, I'm all in tune with that, having three sisters, a mother, a daughter. So I appreciate that show. It was great. Great crowd,
yes.
too.
So those two wonderful venues in particular, where Mark Strickland and friends were able to join me live and record at those venues. I want to say a special thank you to everybody at both of those venues. Number one, at the Carnegie Music Hall in Carnegie, PA, on October 3rd, weather permitting, with the rain date October 4th, both at 6 p.m. I'm going to be singing live with Mark, and we are releasing a new live CD. Has most of the tracks are from live performances just before COVID hit. That will honor Maxine Sullivan, the great jazz innovator and vocalist. She inspired the project. This Is Red. We had performed it. This Is Red not too long before that, in the last year, and it's a beautiful big church, old church venue that's been renovated. And the first piece that we want to perform for our audience today comes live out of This Is Red, just before COVID. And then we'll go into a song that was requested during COVID. But this particular song, Al, did you ever hear of this particular song?
Yes, let me say I've been following you for 8 years, and you introduced me to it, and I didn't realize that Willie Nelson wrote it back in 1960, because you know me, I like history and research. So guess what I did? I researched it back then, and I go, Willie Nelson's a great songwriter. How do you write this non-country song? Because it didn't sound country, and I heard he had pushback on it, that he actually sold it, listen to this, for $150 to another guy, because they said it wasn't country enough. And I thought so too, because your singing and the playing with Mark and others just inspired me. It's just such a cool song. And I'll tell you a tie-in that I had. I worked the night shift at the Post-Gazette for over 12 years, from the age of 18 and a half to 30. And we would always go, nobody understands what it's like to live a nightlife, because we had to sleep during the day, and people would call us at 8 o'clock in the morning. Aren't you up? They go, you sound sleepy. So that was perfect for me. And it's been one of my favorite songs, among others, that you sing. I won't mention my favorite blues song yet, maybe another show.
We'll get
So,
that in. We're going to work that one in for you. So to your point, Al, this song maybe isn't a country song, but Willie Nelson's written a bunch of stuff, and this is a blues, right? A blues tune. It's called
totally.
Nightlife. Called Nightlife. And if, for those of you who like to go out to the YouTube world and search Nightlife, B.B. King did a beautiful version of it. Aretha Franklin did a beautiful version of it. But this song really hit me because, like you said, Al, so many of the musicians have lived these lives where you are working out late on holidays, on evenings, weekends when everybody else is taking it easy. The musicians are working, and they're working late. And it says, this nightlife, it ain't no good life, but it's my life. Well, COVID has put a little bit of a pause on that. So that's the first song that I think, maybe we offer up to the audience today. What do you think?
I think let's hear it. They'll enjoy it like I do, Jess. And I know it's heartfelt from you because of your nightlife. As simple as that.
And Al, when you don't have it for a minute, you miss it. Right?
Amen.
So here's to the
Yeah.
days when we can all get back together safely inside and enjoy some live music and the nightlife.
Let's hear it.
sun goes down, you're gonna find me just hanging round. This nightlife, it ain't no good life, but it's my life. Many people just like you and me, dreaming of their used to be. This nightlife, it ain't no good life, but it's my life, my life. Listen to the blues that is playing here. I said listen to what the blues are saying here. It's the same. It's the same old scene from the land of broken dreams. This nightlife, it ain't no good life, but it's my life. Nightlife, I say it again, nightlife, it ain't no good life, but it's my life.
Jess, what a great song. It's just a fantastic, well-written, well-sung, well-played. And you talk about the venue. I was there and I kept quiet while you were describing it, but it's everything you said and more. And they have a guitar collection, they have art, they have stained glass windows. Just the work they did to it and the money and time they put into it. You have to go there when it's open again. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, everybody has to Google This Is Red. They're able to do beautiful sound recording there and videos and more. So the sound inside of that space is really beautiful and lush, isn't it? Beautiful sound.
I co-sign that 100%. It was just, I was blown away when I got in there because first of all, I couldn't get in. Then they had to make some calls and somebody let me in because it's not the best of neighborhoods. I'll share that. And I did get in and I was blown away by the size of the space and the look of it and the ceilings.
And Homestead is up and coming though, as we know. I mean,
Yes.
it's really being renovated beautifully, and a lot of beautiful, wonderful businesses and entrepreneurs are doing great things there. And it's really right beneath the Carnegie Library.
I let you do that. I let you tell them that because it's another great venue. Definitely.
Yeah, in Homestead there. Al, we're going to compare that sound, right? That beautiful live music sound in that space with professional engineers, to the next and final recording today, the live performance I've done from my home studio. So really, I mean, that was just pre-COVID, that performance of Nightlife, right? And Mark Strickland's beautiful blues guitar on there. Now we move, March hit us hard. My last performance, Al, you were there, was at the Carnegie Music Hall in Carnegie, PA, not the Homestead one, the Carnegie one.
Yes.
Where we did a beautiful tribute show to Maxine Sullivan, the early jazz vocalist who put the ing and swing and influenced Ella Fitzgerald and Peggy Lee and more. And Lou Staloot was on saxophone that night. Mark Strickland was on guitar, and we had George Jones on conga drums and percussion.
All legends, all legends.
And I remember it was early March, Al. I was starting to worry about hearing about this coronavirus, and I worried, is everybody going to be safe coming to the show?
Sure.
And we were still early enough where everybody said, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, you know. But quickly after that, I mean, we're talking days.
Yes.
We were in quarantine days after that concert, right?
I thought the timing couldn't have been better with what we experienced, because you talk about a shock on how bad it became and was.
And my heart goes out to all the live musicians and all the venue owners who are struggling. It is a strange time. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime, Al, where we have such challenges, right? And everybody's trying to find ways to go virtual together and to perform outdoors together and to innovate entrepreneurially, because it's hard to pivot when people have been doing maybe 4 or 5 live shows a week or more, and that's how they make their livings, right? So my heart goes out to everybody, and I started to take songs by request. Not surprisingly, Al, and we'll talk about this in other shows, it's been very interesting to see the songs that have been requested. I've kept a list of all the ones I've already played live for everybody, and another whole list that's longer than my body, and I'm 5 feet 4 inches tall.
I can't wait to see that list
of song requests, you know, that have come out. And I love it. I love to see the messages that make people feel better and the stories that inspire. So this next song is an old song, Al. It's called Lord, Don't Move My Mountain. And if you go all the way back to Mahalia Jackson, the queen of gospel music, have you ever spent any time on YouTube with Mahalia?
Just because of you. I had heard of her name, but didn't really listen to her. Like with Maxine Sullivan, I now know over 70 of her songs because of you on YouTube. So thank you. So guess what I did when Lord Don't Move That Mountain? I go, where and when did this song come about? Because I like the history of things. And I heard Mahalia Jackson sing a song, Etta James, and a couple others. I just went through it, but her voice, it just was inspirational. When I heard you sing it, I told you I never heard that song before, and I wanted to ask you questions. Did you ever sing it before, or did you just hear it recently and start singing it?
Well, it's interesting. I've sung that song in various places and spaces, probably throughout maybe the last 5 years, but it's, a song that's typically heard within a church.
I figured with your church gospel background that you had. That's why I had to ask.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different verses out there to that particular song. You'll see Mahalia Jackson using very different verses.
It's over 5 minutes. It's over 5 minutes with hers. And Etta James was about less than 4 minutes. So I did study just for you.
Yeah, and people, will take these older spirituals out and improvise on them. And this particular song, though, the idea, the message behind it, like I said, we have so many who are hurting today. special challenges have arisen for them because of the coronavirus pandemic. And this song was requested by multiple people who have had their whole lives change, their whole careers go away, at least for a time, because of this coronavirus pandemic. And so the lyric here is, Lord, don't move that mountain, but give me the strength to climb. And you don't have to move my stumbling blocks, but lead me all around. That part, that is the chorus that remains the same. The verses that you'll hear different singers sing change a lot. There's a lot of different verses out there. I don't even recall where my verses came from. I don't even recall.
I was going to ask you, because out of the two others and you were more succinct in getting the message across. I mean, seriously, how I looked at it after listening to Mahalia Jackson for, over 5 minutes.
Well, the verses can, the people choose to sing change up. And depending on how long you want to go, if you're in the church, you might go longer. If it's a time to share, if you're doing something for somebody that want a specific message, you might do a shorter version. And so there's no right or wrong with any of that, obviously. But, this is just my version, Al, from my home studio during the coronavirus quarantine period. And it's just really with a laptop computer, the same one I'm here with you on, a laptop, no sound engineer, right? And an acoustic piano that had been gifted to me long ago, and myself. And so this is just my version for everybody out there who's struggling with challenges right now. This is my special version for those people.
Thanks for explaining that, Jess, because you've inspired me and others. And I hope all of you watching this will be inspired by Jessica Lee playing live on the piano.
Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lee. I'm stopping by Facebook Live to sing a song that was requested called Lord, Don't Move That Mountain. I have a piano down below here that you can't see. I'm taking requests at jessicaleejazz.com, jessicaleejazz.com. If you want a song, I'll play it at my piano and sing it for you during the coronavirus pandemic. And here's one for everybody who's struggling tonight, fighting something hard. Here's Lord, Don't Move That Mountain. So Lord, don't move that mountain, but give me the strength to climb. Well, Lord, you don't have to take away my stumbling blocks, but lead me all around. Lord, I don't bother nobody. I try to treat everybody the same, but every time I turn my back, they scandalize my name. I said, Lord, don't move our mountains, but give us the strength to climb way up high now. Lord, don't take away our stumbling blocks, but lead us all around. When our foes, they try to slay me, these things and they will try to do, well, Lord, don't touch them, but within their hearts now have them give their love and their lives to you. So we say, Lord, don't move our mountains, but give us the strength to climb way up high now. Lord, Lord, don't take away my stumbling blocks, but leave me on See you soon.
I hope you enjoy that song. as much as I told you I did before. Hearing it again now with Jessica Lee on piano for the first time on our shows, I'm so honored to be able to co-produce this great by request show with Jessica Lee and the Talking Machine. So make sure you send your requests to Jessica Lee Jazz. You could even send requests to the BPTV studio with Dave Cable. We'll accept all of that because we're going to continue to do this. We got shows coming up, and I won't say how many songs Jess already has in reserve because I've watched each one of them, and all 12 of them were great. So I appreciate that. And stay tuned for our next by request show.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Al. This is By Request with Jessica Lee Jazz and
Talking Machine.